you should be putting out all of your content with the intention of getting people to buy from you, especially in that 0 to 10 to 20K range. Like you said, like now I can post about whatever I want because, you know, when you hit a certain level in agency life, it's very much referral and word of mouth and upselling your current clients and trying to get massive results for your current clients. But like 0 to 10, 20 and 30K, you should just be all sales. Like everything should be trying to get new clients. I had 0 tweets on the TL that weren't auto DMs, threads, testimonials. You know what I mean? Like I even took that interview and I was like, okay, I'm going to talk about my journey, but I'm going to talk about my journey in an intentional way. And in that interview, I said something that I got, 30 DMs from, and it was my goal as an agency, but as a ghostwriter at the time, is to make more money for my clients than they pay me. And I've continuously doubled and tripled down on that message. That's your goal when you're doing service work or any type of product, is to deliver more value than you're receiving. It should be something that Cold Email Wizard says. You need to deliver an asymmetric offer, an asymmetric amount of value. If someone gives you $1,000 a month, they should be able to receive $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month worth of value. And as you raise your prices, you just have to keep having more value given. So for me, I charge way more than I did back then, but I'm also providing way more value. And I also put that on the timeline. Like my pinned thread is like how a client made $100K a month. And I was like, my client's making $100K a month, they can pay me anything under $100K a month. You know what I mean? Like it's very common sense, but as a beginner, you get clouded. You have information overload, but in reality, you just have to follow the foundations, the checklists, the auto DM, the confidence proving tweets, the case study thread every week. I was sending 10 to 20 cold DMs a day. But now, you got to understand there's market sophistication. So you should be sending 30, 40 cold DMs a day and be personal with it. Or you should be doing a lot of warm DMs. What I did back then might not work now. And I understand that.
Yeah. And a big one on this is, how people were shitting on the short form content people like a while ago?
Exactly.
And they were saying, dude, these DMs are dead. Like, don't call pitch. It's like, no, DMs are not dead. Your DMs are dead because of how you send them, because you are not good at it.
And I was like,
some that are really good, and those will get responses. You and I are the proof of it. We're here because of cold DMs. Right? It's all,
market sophistication is so important. Like you should be keeping eyes on and I'm always keeping eyes on my competition. Like if you are a short form content agency, right? And everybody is memeing you on the timeline. They're making fun of you. They're talking shit. They're like, these guys are annoying. How can you now flip that to an advantage? Because if anything, now you have more traction. People want to look at your DM now just to make fun of you. So your open rate is going to be higher. So how can you now get that open rate to turn into a conversion? Okay, I would start my DM with something funny because everybody's already laughing at you. So just be the butt of the joke. You want to get a reply, right? So someone had DM'd me and they were like, and I was like, this is your 10,000th short form content DM. But I was like, I'm going to open that, right? So the market sophistication is always changing. And, the interesting thing is when 3 to 4 months into like ghostwriting, I thought there would be more market sophistication, but there really isn't. The ghostwriting demand is higher than it was when I started. And it's, you know what I mean? And there's really not that many people going into it because there's other markets that are getting big, like short form content and stuff like that. Everybody's talking about the other markets, but in my opinion, the ghostwriting market is still very alive and well. That's just a side note.
Yeah, it's good. Although when one dude that helps others quit porn joined Tweets and Clients, that's when I was convinced there's money everywhere. Like, oh my God, you charge $5,000 for that. But when it comes to ghostwriting, it's in any niche really. There's the market and there's your competition, right? There's this amount of competition, and then that's not your competition. Your competition is the segment of that actually proves how good they are, because everybody else won't be taken seriously. So it's not the people that just are in that same niche you're competing to. It's the people proving their competence in that niche. And that circle is small. It's like ridiculously small. Nobody's posting client wins because, nobody's good at it.
Right. And there's a couple of those, because I have an outline here. There's a couple of points I wanted to make about the groups, and especially in the beginner level, like that 0 to 3K followers and that 0 to 3K a month. Some of the frequently asked questions are like, how do you grow those initial followers and how do you get those initial results? Something I did and that I don't talk about a lot that I see nobody doing. And I was in this group, right? I was in this Discord. You can literally search my name and see these messages that I'm talking about. Everybody's like, oh, like, how do I get traction on my auto DM if, I don't have a lot of followers? Hey, how do I go viral? And this is like a big value proposition of ghostwriting. And I was in the group when I started, I was starting engagement groups in the Cash Dojo. I started a white belt engagement group for people 0 to 1,000 followers, a blue belt engagement group 0 to 1 to 10,000 followers. And I was like, nobody's doing anything for me. I don't know where to go, so I'm just going to start it. And I started inviting people from the Discord to the group, and we were just bouncing retweets off each other, liking and commenting on each other's stuff. But you got to get a little bit gritty and make the most out of the situation. I don't even know if JK knows this, but if you go and search my name and type in group, I have Telegram that they're expired. Telegram links to groups from people in the group. We were like, none of us can afford retweets. None of us know anyone in the industry. We don't have any networking potential. Like, we're all nobodies, right? So if we're all nobodies, let's all be somebodies to each other, right? So I had a group of like 10 to 20 people from the Discord, and we were just like retweeting and everything. And that got us a lot of traction. That led to, my 0 to 10K a month journey, was starting that networking group. And now that I have a little bit of social proof, I started getting followed by people in the industry. JK obviously followed me, but then, all the big names slowly start to follow you as you make a name for yourself. You got to think of money, Twitter, and Twitter in general as one giant country club, right? Like, nobody knows who you are. You got to work your way up, just like with the belt ranks in the group. You work your way up through money Twitter, right? JK followed me slowly but surely. Dakota followed me. All of these people start Cold Email Wizard, like all the big names started to follow me. And what's that little thing under your profile that says who follows you is more important than says the number of followers, right? Because if I follow someone, if I click someone's profile and they have 1,000 followers, but they have 10 mutual followers than me, I'm more likely to follow them than if they have 100,000 followers with no mutual followers. So it's all about networking. So networking is very, very important. And I would say that's probably a top 2 contributor to what got me to 0 to 20K a month, maybe even 30K a month. And we're currently at a little over 30K a month. But man, I'm telling you, networking is everything. And I was like, so that was the point I really wanted to make.
You dropped the gem there now that I really enjoyed, which is, it's not the follower count that brings you the followers. It's who follows you. Below where it's like the recommended, it's like the little icons. That's the best follower magnet you'll ever have.
And I was like, right. And I want to, and like, just like for a visual, I'm going to open up this Zoom, right? So like if I follow, and I go in here, right? And I follow David White, and David White now has me following him, and he continues to be, and I was like, consistent, and he's networking within this Discord. And, now David Breyer and Eugene Popa, Florian, and Jason Hartford all follow David White, and they're mutual followers. Now JK follows Jason Hartford. So if JK now sees that Jason Hartford is following David White, he's like, all right, maybe I'll follow David White. And then it's just a ripple effect. Who follows JK? Dan Coe. Dan Coe now is like, oh, well, David White's followed by JK and this other guy now. Maybe I'll follow him. And it's just a ripple effect. Like, networking is so important on Twitter. And like, you guys should be making the most of being in a Discord with hundreds of like-minded people that are all grinding towards one goal. Like, if all 85 of you started an engagement group and all followed each other and all liked and commented and retweeted each other's tweets, you have 80 retweets. It's so obvious, but nobody does it. Everyone's like, where do I get engagement? I saw someone post 2 days ago on the Discord, and I didn't answer it purposely because I wanted to wait. He's like, how do I get engagement on my auto DM if I have no followers? Talk to people in the group and get people to follow, to retweet and comment and be like, I'll do it for you, you do it for me. We're both at 50 followers. We're both absolutely nobodies. So how do you do it? Now you have 50 people that are at 50 followers doing it. Congratulations. Now all at 100 followers, and you're all using each other's audiences to peg each other up. That's how you grow from 0 to 500 to 1,000 followers. Once you have 1,000 followers, you're home free. Just be consistent. You're going to hit 10K, I promise. And it's the same with the money, the networking. And I was like, client, 1,000 a month, ask for a referral after you get banger results. Now you have 2 clients at 1,000 a month. Plus you posted the 1,000 a month social proof on the timeline, and you turned it into a case study thread. You also turned that case study into a Google Doc, which you gave away for free as an auto DM. And then you record a video going over the Google Doc of the case study. It's like, you have infinite content. All it takes is one. You get 1 client, you make 1 little engagement group, you get 1 social proof, and now you're home free. It's literally just getting started and getting that one. And getting that one can be a grind, but you have to trust the process. You just have to grind it out, do the checklist, get that 1 client, and now you're good. That's the golden nugget I hope you can walk away from.
That was good. Let's dissect that. So the case study, what do you think about when you're crafting case studies? Do you give just completely everything away, or is it like more overview steps?
Yeah, so it's like a little bit of both because, a case study over a month period, like a month worth of results, there's so many nuances that it'd be too long for just like a thread. It'd be like 50 tweets. But I try to package it up into a digestible framework. So typically what's good for a thread hook, right, is like a framework or some sort of method or something like that, some 5-step thing. So I try to package it into some kind of digestible 3, 5, or 7-step framework. And I lead with the results. So my result is my client did 100K a month using this 3-step process. And now I break down his success, and ultimately it's my delivery process, right? So if I'm selling ghostwriting and I can break down my process, I boil down my process into 3 big steps. I turn it into a 3-step thread, and then I just provide the context from that specific client. So if my client did 100K a month, what did we do for him specifically? X amount of threads. So in my pinned thread, I did 29 threads in a month for a client. 29 threads. So every single day, other than 2 days, which were auto DM days, we did a thread, and we got that exact quantifiable result, $140,000 in revenue off of 29 threads and 2 auto DMs, doing specific kinds. I wrote exactly the specific kind of thread, niche thread, storytelling thread, like all of that. So just turn the case study into some sort of 3, 5 step framework. And then now you can just recycle that framework for every case study you get. So if you have a client at 20K and 30K and you know, a million views, it's the same framework. You're just going to be saying it differently. It's like Twitter saying the same thing 1,000 different ways. So is your case study. If the results might be a little bit different or a little bit better, but the framework's the same, because ultimately, as you scale your business, you're just implementing the same framework over and over for different clients. That's how you scale.
Hey, if you're getting value from this, just know that Marcus joined Tweets & Clients when he was around $4,000 a month. And now he hit his first 50K month and is making consistently $30,000 a month. So if you'd like to monetize your Twitter audience, go to tweetsandclients.io and we'll look you up.
Some good advice. Hope everybody's listening. Is like, this is applicable to all audiences. I steal my case study frameworks from John Constance, the health guy. I just stole it from him because I really like how he does it. It's very story based. You know what I mean? And when it comes to case studies, if you guys are writing some for your clients and you already have one, the best case study formula for me, it's showing others how they were in the same situation, but they're still doing better than them. Because then there's a little bit of ego involved. You know what I mean? It's like, right. I gotta catch up.
And the most important part about when you post case studies is to be intentional. Like, I don't post my case study to brag, and I don't post my case study so that aspiring agency owners can read my case study and be like, wow, I want to be like him. I write my case study so that a potential client reads the case study and they're like, I want that. Right. So like, if I can charge someone $5K a month and they can make $100K a month, that's the dream for them. So now I need to write a case study that makes it easy enough for them to understand so that they want to reach out. I don't want to be putting a 50-step case study thread out there so that my potential client can look at it and be like, sure. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. Why would they reach out? Like, I just want it to be just good enough and digestible enough and spam the results so that they can read that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to shoot them a DM. And in your thread, in your case study thread, you should have a call to action. Shoot me a DM if you're X, Y, and Z and want X, Y, and Z. So